tradition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page. And love and tradition of the grand design, some people say is even harder to find.
All right, we're ready to roll. Unlocking Silicon Valley. You know, from the upstairs conference room window, I can look out. And see our new billboard. We have that tree, get that tree trimmed a little bit.
Do you walk in and go, "Hey, good morning, David. Hey, good morning, David. See you, David. Bye, David."
You know, I will say something. You know, interesting. I did not want to do a billboard. But it's funny how people perceive you being on a billboard.
Oh yeah,
famous.
Yeah, like you're famous now, and
we did pay for that.
Yeah, and I'm like, we actually paid to be on there. Yes. You know, we didn't get voted up there or something.
Like we can do our own TV show and stuff now. Right?
And honestly, the gas station is making more money because our friends and family are going to go and fill up there just to see us.
Just to stare at us.
Yeah, just to stare at us.
There you go.
That is
but yeah, so yeah, we are on a billboard now. You know, different, right? I never thought I'd. You know, my kids are like, hell yeah, Dad's on a billboard. But yeah, you know, interesting. But again, you know, just a way I think, you know, I'm very proud of our team on how our success has come along over the years as we built the team, but more importantly, how we've been able to help so many families. And, you know, we've always said, like, hey, just give us that opportunity to interview for the job, right? So hopefully that will expand brand awareness and get our faces in front of more people so that we do get more opportunities because, you know, hands down, I believe we are one of the best teams in the Valley. So, hey, if you see our billboard, tag us, give us a shout out, and Ben will buy you lunch.
Yes, he will.
Or something from the gas station.
$10 budget from the gas station.
I'll give you a gas card for $10. Go and fill up.
All right, so we're in fall, right? Labor Day is behind.
The first day of fall was like Saturday or something.
God, that's scary.
Well, it's like
Just
90
so
degrees
fast.
outside.
So it doesn't 100 degrees this week.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like fall yet, but we are, you know, nearing the last quarter of the year. And I think a lot's going to happen between now and the end of the year, both in the world and our economy, obviously with our elections. But I know everybody wants to know what's going on with inventory. So I'll give you guys the market update. I'm just going to combine single family condos and townhomes just to be a little more succinct. But
The podcast, you should run this like the same as what we did in January. You know, the inventory might be exactly the same.
Right. Well, not January. Because we're actually up right now. We've got 1,300 units total.
Okay.
Yeah, between single-family homes, condos, and townhomes. 975 pending, right? So the market is still moving.
I'm sorry, I know you didn't want to do this, but how many of those are single-family homes?
789 single-family homes.
That's actually up about 40%. From
yeah.
Where starting
yeah, exactly. And then condos, townhomes are 518. So yeah, I mean, plenty of homes to choose from, but as you can tell from the pendings at 975, and we only have about a month and a half worth of inventory, very right? So things are still moving. Rates continue to trend down a little bit. I don't anticipate any large drop in rates between now and the end of the year, although the Fed does meet this month. Yeah. They are anticipating at least a 0.25% interest rate cut. But remember, those interest rate cuts are not a direct link to mortgage interest rates. It's an indirect, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, so healthy market. Jason, I know you just did an open house this weekend. You want to talk a little bit about, you know, the house and the traffic?
Yeah, absolutely. So 95124, single family, 4-bed, 3-bath, 1-story, big 10,000 square foot lot. Nice. So
very desirable.
Where's it located? 14817 Rhonda Drive.
Rhonda Drive?
Yeah, San Jose.
Nice house?
Yeah, nice house, super dialed.
Listed at?
Listed at 1698.
Oh yeah, that's a good price point. Yeah.
Great connectivity to the freeway.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, it does back to Highway 85, but
that's all right.
We were kind of talking.
White noise, man. It's like ocean.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it's a good little buzz.
Okay, but like set the stage. So you've got 10,000 square foot lot, which is nice. Price point 1.6, but it backs up to 85. How many people did you get through the open house this weekend?
So before I say the numbers, it was a holiday weekend as well. Yeah. So due to timelines, we went on during a holiday. And so kind of with those expectations, like, okay, we'll see how it goes. We had 25 groups on Saturday and then another 16 on Sunday.
That's busy.
So
you've got over 40 groups, and again, 40 groups, and usually it's 2 to 4 people per group.
Correct.
Per group. So you had somewhere between 60 to 100 people through 6 hours worth of open house over a holiday weekend.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you're expecting multiple offers on Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll take offers Wednesday and hoping for at least a couple and be done with it for these beautiful sellers.
Yeah. So only in the Bay Area can you get a 1.6 or 7, probably sell at 1.8 plus $1 million home that backs up to the freeway, and you're going to get multiple offers on it.
It was nonstop.
Yeah. Which leads me into San Jose is still number 1 in the nation for most expensive place to rent and to own a home, with the median price, not the average. The average is higher. Median price about $1.5 million, and average rent's about $3,300 a month. And,
Wild.
and that's not rent for a house. That's rent for an apartment.
It's also one of the most expensive places to raise a kid. It was like $36,000 a year or something along those lines.
That's it. That's cheap.
I was gonna say, I have clients that pay $36,000 a year for
private
school.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not even a kid yet.
I know. Shout out to Valley Christian.
God bless.
A couple of things about the market. So how crazy things are. So in January of this year, there was unfortunately a murder in Santa Clara, in the city of Santa Clara. Google employee killed his wife inside his home in Santa Clara. On January of this year. Fast forward to May of this year, just 5 months later, that home sold in 9 days.
Yeah.
Over asking price. Yeah. So that was the article, was the murder house,
No one cared.
sells in 9 days. No one
Nope.
cares. Took 3 months to close escrow though, because the husband and their family's in China. So it took a while to get like the sign-offs and all that stuff. So 9 days to get in a contract, 3 months to close it. But I mean, dude.
I got in contract on a house like that, hung herself in the backyard. 4 days later, it was my buyer's.
No way.
Yeah, why not?
Would you buy a house like that?
No, I'm a pretty superstitious person. I think that is, I don't know. That seems a little.
It's tough, right? I mean, we sell a lot of properties that are probate trusts where people have passed away. 9 times out of 10, it's of old age. They passed away peacefully. Yeah. But I think we've all, sold homes where there's been either, suicide or murder or both.
It's funny that you brought that one up in January. I remember a home, I think it was in March. It was all over the news. It was that meth house where they bought it in 2022 or 2023. It's a really nice house, backed it to a train track, but they started making meth in there and then it got closed down, put it back on the market for $400,000 more than what they bought it for.
I know. And the buyer had to agree to clean up, like do all the environmental cleanup of the lab and all that stuff. You couldn't get financing on it.
You couldn't even walk through. Yeah, it was.
That's Santa Clara for you.
But
I know. Yep.
So you wouldn't buy a house with some sort of issue like that, but little update for everyone in our audience. Ben became a homeowner recently.
Whoop, whoop.
We did.
Congratulations.
We closed.
Congratulations. So where'd you buy?
95124. But it's interesting because doing this as a buyer, you now have that knowledge of what buyers don't see when they initially go to purchase a home. And that's all like the back end stuff. So everyone thinks, it's the regular down payment or the regular home, 3% earnest money deposit, 25% down, you have your 1% closing cost. But then there's more. Depending on what month you buy the home, when your impound tax comes up, you're gonna have to pre-fund the impound account. Yeah. That could be up to 7 months worth of taxes. If you are not going with your bank and going with a mortgage of a different bank, you have to put 2 months upfront mortgage into that account. You can take it out eventually, but it has to be in there initially to start the account up and start to be able to fund the account. So there's all these different costs that first-time home buyers, I think, don't take into consideration at our age. I think adults who buying their second home, they already know it. They have enough money kind of left over in their
Or if you're
account.
working with a great real estate agent like on our team in that buyer consultation, we walk them through.
We educate you on that.
Yeah, now it's going to be a way higher level of education because it's again, it's like
Great example of why I would say every real estate agent have to buy or sell every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
To know what our clients go through.
Yep.
It is a challenge. It could be it's a roller coaster throughout the whole process.
Well, and it's so interesting because when I was speaking to my lender about it, and we had our meeting, he went through the whole closing net sheet with me and everything, and I'm like, oh, that's so crazy. I usually never tell buyers about like these small tidbits right here. And he goes, well, why don't you do that? I say, well, usually I just let you do it because you're my lender. Like, you're my partner.
You're the
lender.
guy.
Like, that's why we work together. And
you got to realize.
But now it's like, okay, so this is something you can upfront.
You got to realize non-recurring and recurring, right? And then if the bank can require an escrow account, like you're saying, 6 months worth of that reserve. There's a lot more to it than just the purchase price of the property.
So when we say to our buyers, and I'm sure, especially Jeet and Jason over here who work with them regularly, it's like when we talk about the reserves and the lender goes into, you want 6 to 12 months of reserves to live in this home. It's truly not just to live, but it's just to fund. Like you need these reserves after the down payment to get through that mortgage, that impound, the closing.
For any unforeseen things.
What do we always tell buyers? Expect the unexpected. Absolutely. Like you walk into a house and the next thing you know, oh, your lights are flickering. Well, that didn't. And I think Aaron said this the other day, you said it. You have 2 sets of eyes as a buyer. You have your first set when you walk into the home.
Yeah, the open house.
You love it.
Yeah.
You love it. I'm all in. This is the home.
It's the honeymoon in the marriage.
And then you get in. all the staging is gone. It's an empty canvas.
It's kind of dirty
Where did
now.
that come from?
Yeah,
right
you're like,
there?
oh, the hardwood floors are discolored. I didn't see that under the rug.
Or
So
you call the contractor in to scrape the ceiling, and they're like, "Oh, well, you need an asbestos remediator."
Yeah, the domino effect. There's all these little
there's termites
things that
up
you can
there.
just-
Oh, that galvanized plumbing is going to cost you how much, Ben?
Yeah,
replace.
A lot.
a lot of money.
Right?
But it is interesting.
But now you can
Your
poop in
copper roof
peace.
is 3 layers.
That's right.
4th layer.
Poop and pee. Speaking of that, not to even get off this, my plumbers decided to go and christen the toilet for me. Christen the toilet for me. But I mean, which again, you look at it one way, like, oh, that's nasty. They used the restroom. I looked at it as, well, if those guys clogged it, they're for sure going to be the ones to fix it. I'm not going to have to worry about that.
That's guaranteeing your work. This works, I'm sure of it.
They're checking the work, not only the inspector.
They're testing out. But again, so for our listening and viewing audience, how old are you?
29.
29. To be able to buy a home in Silicon Valley at 29 years old, congratulations.
Yep.
Boy.
Thank you.
You've worked really hard, and we're proud of you.
I appreciate
So
it.
can't wait
100%.
for you to have us over to trash some.
That's
We
right.
will do it. And then obviously the opposite side. Well, I'll let you go ahead and ask the question to GJ.
Oh, side question for Jeet. Some more updates.
Yeah.
I think since the last time we talked, there's been some changes in the buyer representation kind of agreement and how things go with that. A lot of buzz about
List, the NAR settlement.
Yeah, I mean, we're what, 2.5 weeks in now.
Absolutely.
And real quick, so Jeet's had a couple buyers in the contract since then. What have you done to navigate through that, and what have you done to get those offers accepted?
Yeah, great question. I think, the first thing that I'm telling these buyers is like, look, we're going to figure this out together. It's a new change. Everyone's kind of figuring it out as we go. But I got about 6 of them signed last week. I got 1 client into contract, and the seller was paying the buyer's agent commission. I called the agent before I showed the house. I was like, hey, my clients want to see this. Just one of the, leading questions would be, what's the compensation that the seller is offering? And he said, full 2.5%. Over here, he was in fact the seller and the selling agent. So he was representing himself on the sale.
I find that really interesting. I mean, agents who represent their own sale. I just did this in Los Gatos. How much did we offer out? They offer out full commission. There might be a reason why they do that.
Yeah,
absolutely. So he's like, I wanted to motivate all agents to bring me an offer. And so
100%.
he ended up with 7 offers and about 22% over asking.
22%?
Yeah, it was also priced low.
Did you get it?
Yeah, we got it.
There you go.
And it appraised for $30,000 higher than what we paid.
Wow.
So it was a beautifully done home. I mean, fully flipped with permits and really high end stuff in there. And my client's really happy to have landed it. And the fact that we made money before we even closed on it is cherry on the top. But so a few stats that I came across, having these buyer broker agreements signed, there's a lot of back and forth because buyers do have questions around it, like, hey, what if I get stuck paying this? And it's like, you wouldn't pay me this without actually knowing before we write an offer, right? Like, first things first, we're going to ask the sellers to pay it. If not, then we'll figure something out. But some of the stats I came across was like 94% of the buyers, once informed, understand the rules and are good with it, right? Like, they understand these new rules. 97 of them agreed to pay the commission while they hoped that the sellers pay for it.
Yeah.
And 77% of the sellers are still offering out compensation, while 20% of them wait to see how negotiations play.
Yeah.
But they're still budgeting that 2.5% or 3% in some cases.
And I think, I mean, we're going to end up staying around that point, right? I mean, I do think over time, the buyer side commission will get compressed, right? And maybe it ends up being, 2% or something. But it's you can't change a 100-year-old tradition overnight.
Well, I always say it's just business. It's negotiations, right? Yeah. And as you said, it's something that's been there, and it does incentivize agents who are commission-based employees or contractors to still come out there and show their property.
Now what I'm seeing as a difference is before there would be compensation that's kind of marketed. Now it's that line, that everyone's using. Sellers are open to considering concessions. So I feel like, it's just going to be a new norm that's going to be set out of this, and sellers are going to feel like if they don't have that in there, they're not going to get the same amount of activity as other people, right? So it's just a new norm instead of...
It's the same thing as we said, that it's a commercial industry. We do the same thing in the commercial industry. We'll call them up, have a conversation with the agent, put it in our LOI, right?
Mm-hmm. And on average, it took about 10 minutes to explain to these buyers, like, hey, these are the new rules, this is how it works. And once they understand it, they're ready to sign.
I think it allows us as agents to just another way of demonstrating our value.
Yeah, and separating us from the rest of the pack.
100%.
I will say, though, and, thank you for sharing that, and congratulations on getting 6 of those written, those contracts done with buyers last week, because I remember not too long ago, Jeet was terrified. Jeet was like, at the time, most of his business was buyer-based. I mean, he's transitioning now to more listings, but Jeet's like, I'm done. I'm dead. I'm going to have to go work at Topgolf.
Which you wouldn't hate.
Practice my swing.
It's our industry's done that, right?
Yeah.
The industry and the news, right? The media's pumped it out there like that too, and it's...
And look what the media's done now. They've moved on to other things.
Of course.
Right? I mean, it was a hot topic, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and now they're moved on to,
what's the media know, right? I mean, I was watching an article this morning where the stock market, like from the day after Labor Day through the end of the year, is like always on a tear, and it's going to gain 3 to 4%. What the stock market?
Did you see it today?
We're down 700 points in the stock market today.
Yeah.
Nasdaq's down 3% today.
Yeah, I will. Let me segue a little bit. It seems like as real estate agents age and get older, you have a subset that just kind of retire out, and then you have like the dinosaurs that are like 75, 80 years old showing property.
Sure.
I always feel bad when I see that. But anyway, but I bring up this interesting statistic. 90% of real estate agents retire or get out of the business without selling their book of business to somebody else, right? So a little public service announcement to any of those, real estate agents on the backside or the back nine of their career. Call us up. We've acquired other realtors' books of business, property management companies' books of business, and we'd love to provide them with the same level of care that we do with our current client base.
We'll pay them in perpetuity.
Yeah, exactly. It's passive income.
Perpetuity.
Can you spell that, Ben?
Perpetuity.
E-N.
In perpetuity. IMPURTUITY.
Tuity. Who knows? I can't spell.
Throw it up on the board. In perpetuity.
He's going to go 3 times.
Right. But I mean, all joking aside, seriously, there are so many agents that have had these long careers, and they're just, they're ready to check out and do other things. And, please reach out to us because we'd love to kind of have some dialogue, conversation about how we could help your clients moving forward.
And not to jump back onto his topic here, but
you're gonna
just real quick, I think it's really interesting, and I know you guys get it a lot because you're on the sell side more, but when agents call and ask you, hey, how much is the commit, or what's the compensation? What are you guys giving out? Some people are very scared to ask that question. They're terrified to ask it. And I mean, obviously you have no problem asking it, but we were on the golf course with Aaron, and there was an agent calling him scared about how to ask him for the. And it's an exaggeration, but when you tell the guy they're open to anything, right? 8%. It's like, okay.
Here's some advice if you're that agent on the other side.
Yeah.
Realize that you're trying to do whatever you can to get the information from the listing agent. Befriend the listing agent so they can help you get your offer accepted. In that case, that agent was getting very aggressive and literally called me up as a broker in the office going to complain, stating that they were going to send
the car, right?
Send Aaron to the board and have a grievance. And I'm like, you think that's the best way? Simply because Aaron wasn't giving him a clear answer. Because in that situation, multiple offers are coming in. I can't tell you. My client's open to negotiations on the concessions.
Yeah, so
that's all I can tell you. You write whatever you want. Right?
Yeah.
So...
I will say, we've said it before on the podcast, but as we get into fall, I swear the two best months to be a buyer is June and October.
100%.
October's right around the corner. We all know why June and part of July is. I've been doing this a long time. I can't put my finger on why October is a slower month, but I tell you what, every October, homes sit on the market longer. You're able to negotiate better deals for your buyers. So if you are a buyer and we're into September, you can't find what you're looking for, sit tight. October's around the corner, and temporary relief is in sight.
So I got a couple of sellers listening to this podcast. If October is a good time for buyers, do we jump back into the seller market in November? Or
Well, no, but great question. Mark and I have had conversations with several of our clients, and we're like, hey, just wait till next year to sell.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, a lot going on between now and the end of the year. And, we're not desperate for the business. Yeah. We're advisors to our clients. And so for a lot of them, based on the activity in those micro areas, it made more sense to wait till next year.
Absolutely. I just met with a seller in Ardenwood over the weekend, and his house burned down. So he had been renting this place for a while and fixing it up. Not a big chunk, but just the garage area. And it would be ready in a month. And I was like, look, we'll hit October, then we hit elections, then we hit the holidays. It's better we wait till next year because we also have to find a place. So it kind of lines up perfectly until start of next year.
The only variable I'll say to that, because to your point with October, I've never had a non-busy end of the year.
Yeah, our fourth quarters have always been busy.
Fourth quarter has always been slammed and busy. Again, a lot of times, especially in today's world, it's a case-by-case basis, right? If you've got that property in Santa Clara or something by Apple or downtown Los Angeles, if you're in ground zero in some of these locations, hell, you had almost 50 parties coming through 95124. Again, my concern sometimes is where the market's at today, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes holding off. We know that that red zone is from February 1st till the end of May, really where sellers generally see the highest value in the entire year, highest activity and everything. But, we also got a lot of appreciation that we've gained over 13 years. We got some wacky stuff happening on the global and national levels economically wise. So,
I will say in almost any market, if your home is dialed in, upgraded, turnkey, or if it's a complete fixer-upper, it's always a good time to sell.
Right.
It's those houses in the middle when things lag, right?
It's great.
When you've got back up to 85, a busier street, not remodeled. Those are the ones that tend to sit when we see these little dips in the market.
If you've got wow factor or if you're a great value,
exactly.
Right?
Those always sell in our marketplace.
But if you're in the middle of the spectrum, a little bit of a challenging.
Yeah. This time for buyers last year was fantastic. Just in December, I had 9 sales with buyers, and all of them I was competing against less than 3 offers. Yeah. Some had been on the market for a lot longer, but the challenge back then was the fact that there wasn't enough choice. So if you're happy with what you found during that time, it was a great time.
Well, interesting enough, it's kind of funny because when I come out of the new year, like January is kind of always my slow month because we're always racing to close things out. And I was going over the numbers with the entire team, and January, February, he killed it, man. He carried the team those 2 months, man. I think January he was the only one that closed anything, and big time.
Good job, G.
Yep.
Thank you.
2 other quick things I want to bring up. One, because elections are coming.
Yep.
All the presidential, national stuff aside, I don't want to speak to that right now. But please, when you get your voter guides, look at the local, the who we're electing as local officials, but also local laws, because Santa Clara County is trying to bring back the 1993 tenant relocation assistance.
Yep.
Where if you're a landlord in Santa Clara County and you evict a tenant, you have to pay to relocate them. Right. So luckily, City of San Jose is pushing back pretty hard on this. So what Santa Clara County is trying to do then is take the unincorporated areas of the county and reinstate that eviction rental assistance. So imagine that you're a landlord, you have one rental property, tenant stops paying. So now you're covering the mortgage for that place, your own home. And then when you evict them, you have to pay to relocate them. So pay very close attention to what's on the ballot this November and use your head. And if you have questions, reach out to one of us.
Cool.
All right.
Who wants a top 10? Top 10 list is back.
Ben does.
All right. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I have one more thing when you're done, but it's not real estate related.
All right. What are the top 10 hottest zip codes? Where do homes sell?
In the
Not for
nation?
the high,
Alabama.
the nation. What are
Boston.
the top growing? That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, Mark, the best
top,
weather.
The top growing zip codes
Growing.
and basically these are
In the country?
In the country,
Like
these are
fastest
areas
growing
that are- they're the fewest days on the market. This is per Realtor.com.
Okay.
They have 5 times more views in these zip codes than any other areas in the nation.
Are there any in California?
Can we give?
I will tell you. Okay, in the top 10, absolutely not. In the
Wow.
top 50, okay. So let's
right.
back it out. Number 48 is Stockton, California. of all
Beautiful.
places, right? Aren't you doing an apartment building over there?
We're looking at 22 units right now.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe it's time to buy. 48th, 45th place is Livermore. 39th is Roseville. Those are the only 3 that made the list.
Okay, so not zip codes, but city, metropolitan.
Well, they say zip codes. See these hot
yeah, but
zip
I don't
codes,
know
hot zip codes.
I don't know the zip code of
cheat.
Stockton.
All right, well, we'll go with a city.
Yeah, let's do the city. That's
Yeah, because
give
I
us
mean, you're
a-
not going to.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're probably not going to know any of these cities on here. And I will say that every one of them are northeast.
Really?
Northeast.
All right,
Not
Hoboken.
Florida.
Hoboken.
So
Is that
It's in New York.
What's the zip code?
It's in New York.
000.
I'm just gonna start saying
All right,
random
all right,
numbers.
let's go. Number 1 is in Ohio. I never even heard of this town, but it's the second. They've done it 2 times in a row. Gahanna. Gahann.
That's Ghana.
Number two is Baldwin, Missouri. Salem, Massachusetts. Boston, the suburbs
metro.
around Boston is
Yeah.
really going big. Basking Ridge, New Jersey, which is 35% less than if somebody was buying actually in like Manhattan and stuff. So
Right.
get that area.
Across the bridge.
Rochester, New York.
way
Mount
off
Laurel, New Jersey. Leominster.
Are these because
Maybe Westfield,
the inventory is rising and the
Highland,
prices
yeah.
are shrinking? Or
Well,
why
no,
are people
they're saying
going here?
inventory is very tight in these areas.
short days on market.
It's because it's affordability. That's the biggest thing that's driving it. 6 of these areas are lower than the national median price, which is what?
430.
Damn, Pete, 438.
Oh,
Dude, that's a down payment here.
which is actually
Right?
which is actually up 3.6% year over year. So interesting on how areas are shifting.
What was number 1?
Ghana.
Ohio.
No, but I'll say Ohio. I told you guys this last time. What was the number 1 state?
I'm
right?
gonna buy in Ohio.
Ghana.
Ohio's on it, right?
looking at
All right.
areas around Chicago are really active as well.
Yeah.
not Florida or like
No, Florida. No, Tampa's not even
Well, so
on the.
What about Austin?
Tennessee.
Well, okay, now like Florida will come into like top growing areas.
Migration.
Yeah.
Right?
But
Migration.
didn't they put a lot of rules upon like what you can do with rental properties out there? You can't
Like Airbnb and
You
stuff?
can't Airbnb in certain
in
areas.
Florida, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want in Florida.
Yeah.
I thought they were putting regulations on all
I think it's
that.
city by city.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't
and,
know,
and even
but-
state by state. All right, last topic. This is
go.
very, very
All right.
important.
Nice.
Buckle your seatbelt.
Yep, go with Mark. This is near and dear to most of our hearts.
What?
Football season.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were going to say casino night.
Hey, I bet on the Raiders to win the Super Bowl. 4,000 to 1.
Just big numbers.
All right, so I'm a Cowboy fan. Mark, you're a Raider fan.
Raider fan.
My wife.
Jay, Niner fan.
Of course. Yeah.
Ben.
All right, Niner fan, obviously, but
Obviously.
Baker Mayfield's my boy. If anybody wants to know. So.
Okay, and Jeet is
Manchester City.
all right. Love it.
Football.
That's in Ohio.
All right. So
And
all
I think
right.
we all have our drafts tonight, right?
Yeah,
Coming up.
Yep. All right. So quick predictions. I'm not gonna not predict Super Bowl. Predict record the final season or the regular season record for your football team. So I'm a Cowboy fan. I think we regress a little bit. We're gonna go 11-6 this year instead of 12-5 from last year.
Hey, good call on the extra game. That's not many people know there's an extra game this season.
That's
That
right.
was smooth, Dave.
All right.
Those are 17.
They're
They
17.
took out a preseason.
All right, Mark, your Raiders and Gardner Minshew. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go 7-10?
On behalf of my wife, we'll
You
be
guys are gonna-
16-0.
Oh wait,
14-2. How about that?
14-2 or 14-3?
You're
It's
going to go
17 weeks.
4-13. You're going to end up with
There you go.
Shooter Sanders as your quarterback.
There we go.
14-3 because it's 100.
14-3.
We're all putting $100 in a pot.
All right.
so-
14 and wait, not
Oh, wait,
3
wait,
and
wait.
14.
Am I betting? No, you didn't say you're betting. I said I said on behalf of my wife. If I'm betting,
If you're betting,
Switch those numbers around. 3.
all right, because we're betting, I'm going to say 9-8.
9-8. All right, 9-8. Raiders.
I would love for you to name those teams you're going to beat for the 9 wins.
Cowboys. All right.
Ben next.
So for the Niners, I mean, they made it to the show.
We're
to
gonna
the ship
go
last night.
So my projection is we're gonna have a couple guys getting hurt at the beginning of the season. We're gonna end up between.
We already had one. He got shot over at Union Square.
He walked it off though.
And
He did walk it off, dude.
Yeah,
He walked it off.
Yep.
Parcells
He had it through and
necessarily
through,
look like a
man.
wide receiver. I just hope that the jury is not Niner fans. That guy's
Right.
Hey, he's 17 years old. We'll slap him on the wrist.
Yeah, Niners this year after injuries are going to be 12-5.
All right.
That's probably fair. Yeah.
We're gonna. There's gonna be. I think Debo's gonna get hurt this year. Knock on wood.
Dude.
We can't be as healthy as I think we're gonna be. Always something.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, and then
Manchester City or Jason?
No, I'll support the Niners too, and I'll go for 12-5 as well.
oh, all right. Well,
there you
split the pot.
Yeah, I was gonna
All
say
right,
that.
well, I'm
but
going
Ben
13-4 then.
There you go. 13-4.
Nice.
Jay. And then what about your boy
Aaron?
Baker? No.
No, Baker. God, this year they're gonna win 9 games. They might do something. They'll win 9 or 10 games this year.
All right.
I think the Chiefs will not make Super Bowl this year.
What?
I think Lamar and the Ravens take him out in playoffs.
Houston's kind of a wild card too, dude.
Pretty
They got CJ and they got Stephon Diggs now. I mean,
We should do like a side podcast, just like once a week sports update. Let's take you to the sports.
There we go. All right,
guys, that's it.
See you later.
Good to
Take
be
care.
here.
Oh, we'll see you guys on our casino night Friday night.
I think by the time
by
this
that time
posts,
it's done. All right,
yeah.
we'll see you sometime. Take care.
Yeah,
Hope you had a great time.